Ladies and gentlemen, tonight it's a very different episode for you guys. For the first time ever, sort of, kind of, I'll explain a bit later, but it is Say What? Random Chat. And that's where the comedians and I are just going to have a random chat amongst ourselves and with you guys, where you guys get to ask us anything and everything you want to. All that and a lot more coming up. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Look who's here. It is MIC, Man in Cameo.
Man in camo. Still.
Camo, yeah. What do you want to be tonight, Mark?
Oh, whatever. What are we talking about?
Oh, I know. This will give you a hint as to what I want to chat to you about. This will kick us off to an interesting start tonight. So, here's
Elon Mork?
Nah. Hold on. I need to think of a good one here. Red.
Dead. Mork.
I think that's how you-
Oh, good lord. Oh, there we go. Okay, I get it. Nice.
But surprisingly, that video isn't doing well on my channel. And I someone told me that it could be because everybody's just got like fatigue of this whole stuff, of this wokeness.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to figure it out. I also sometimes don't know. Like, I mean, I'd love to be able to, like, you're doing awesome where you're like
Thank you.
on the money with like topics. I just like, I take too long, and then like 3 days later, it's like, oh, the issue's gone now, and I'm like, fuck.
No, but some of your stuff actually is I think, like, what I like about you, and this is like something I was talking about with my wife as well, is like you're okay. So let me start from here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
guys that started to do what we do, right? Or
Yeah.
have been doing what we do. Like there's BDL, there's Morning Shot, the CRA, all that stuff, and then we all have our own little style.
Yeah.
And one of the things that my wife and I like about your channel is that instead of maybe doing 3 stories or 2 stories, you focus on one story, which I think is great. A nice 10-minute, and you stick to that story. And the stories you choose are interesting. Even though, like, yeah, it might be a little bit of old news. Like, I didn't know about that whole social media thing. That one episode you did about the social media thing. I didn't know about the Disney stuff. I think that was the last episode you did. So there was even though, like, yeah, it's old news, but there's still, like, my wife was also saying, like, even with me, like, yeah, it's old news, but you must remember there's a lot of people who don't watch corporate media anymore.
No, true.
And they go to
100%.
YouTube for information, and
Yeah.
then they stumble on our channels, and they're like, oh my god, finally, people who do it in an entertaining way. Just before we continue, I just want to say thank you to Gavin, who's given, I mean, I haven't seen numbers
Gavin
this
won the
high.
lotto. Yo.
I haven't seen this high of a Sasa
Balling.
chat in a while, man. It's been some yonks, you know. It's been some time since we've seen 140 rand. So Gavin, thank you so much, and he's saying congratulations on the 6,000 subs. Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, nice. Well
6,000.
done. Jeez.
We hit it yesterday. And I gotta thank everybody who's watched my content, who shared my content, who likes my content, and who subscribed. Thank you so much for all the support. It's greatly appreciated. And remember, become a member, because there are some perks on this channel. For as little as $60, you get to support the channel and help me keep making this awesome content, because eventually I want to get a camera that looks as good as Mork's camera. What kind of camera do you use?
I've got a Canon EOS.
You see.
EOS 50, yeah.
Yeah, you got those nice ones, man. That's a deal.
But I mean, this is actually like I'm borrowing this from my friend Ross, because he left the country and he left it here. He's like, yeah, just use it. I'm like, dude, you
borrowing.
He's like, yeah, just borrow it permanently. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks, dude. But there's schlep with it though, because it's yeah. I mean, I still have to redo the whole thing to get it to do like shoot in 4K. But I'd like to buy my own camera that's, you know, meant for YouTube. This is like it, you know, the bells and whistles. It was really made for this. You've got to use like a what's it called? some weird cable vibe you have to plug in.
Well, that's the thing. Like I've been researching because like that's the thing. Like people may wonder like why should I support Joe and be a member? That money will go towards equipment
Exactly. Yeah.
to make visually. I mean, like don't get me wrong, my webcam love it.
Yeah.
It's a very good webcam. I recommend it to a lot of people who even start doing streaming, and it's a great camera. But I mean, I look at some of these other YouTubers, right?
Oh yeah, no,
And
dude.
have this sexy
Yeah, but I mean,
lights in the background.
there it's also like if you look at the stuff on Amazon, you're going like, wow, it's cheap, and then it's like it's the same price, just double that to import it, and you're
Yeah.
going, okay. I mean, like it took me forever to just like what's it got? Corsair Elgato. They've got this KIF gear like attachment and the microphones, and it's just like it's so much money this side. I mean, there's a guy I know. What's his name? He's the gamer, man. He's on the Espresso show in the morning.
I don't watch that show.
No, neither do I. But I mean, he's like he's South Africa's gamer dude, and he's got such gift gear. Like every now and again, I watch his streams, and I'm like, my God, son, you've got such gift gear.
Yeah.
But obviously he's sponsored. But I mean, he's sponsored and he buys it. It's amazing stuff. I'd love to be able to, but
Well,
exchange rate.
Orms, if you ever listen, like.
Ah, dude, there's no way. Amazon, here I come. Orms is like, I wanted to buy a cable for my camera just to charge like a dummy battery,
Yeah.
and they were like, no, it's like $3.5 grand. I'm like, sorry, what? And I can buy a generic one on Amazon for I think it was $120. I was like, no, there's no way.
Yeah. Some comments are coming in. I'll have a look at the comments in a moment. There was someone though that I wanted to address. Zach Alden, saying that he's guess who's flying tomorrow to SA. Well, I'm assuming you, Zach. So it'd be cool to hopefully meet up with you over the December period if you're available. Yeah, man, you might make it in time to join me for the hike. By the way,
Hi.
I'm no longer hiking up Lion's Head. I was supposed to do it this weekend. I'm not doing it this weekend. I'm doing it on another date. I'm not going to say specifically when, because some people out there are scary. But if you are a member to my channel, you get to know that information because I can trust you. And you are welcome to join me on the hike if you are so inclined. But yeah, I'll be doing it another time soon, very soon, but just not this weekend. Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. No, I mean before
YouTube. YouTube making content. No, but dude, I think you're doing amazing. I love your news clips. It's really awesome.
that. Thanks, man.
I dig it. I really wish I had if I just had more time in the day. I wanted to make one last night. I was like, I'm so tired. It was like a long weekend, and
Look,
I'm like,
these things take time, man.
Oh,
And
dude,
like, and the thing is, like, you're always learning, right? So like for me,
Totally.
I'm doing research, like new editing techniques and all
Yeah.
that stuff, to make it more engaging for the audience and stuff like that. And the only thing that takes the most amount of time is those clips that you put in to
Oh,
add
yeah.
that comical effect.
Yeah, but it's also fun. It's like it's something I love it. It's like if I take an extra day, I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna do it,
Yeah, no,
and,
exactly.
and it's nice.
But that's something and that's why I want to like eventually get new gear, is like YouTube is very much on quality over quantity,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm doing it every day or whatever, and maybe some weeks I might not be able to do it every day because life happens. But at the end of the day, like, I'm learning a lot now doing this every day, and yeah, it's not what we thought it was. Put it that way. YouTube doesn't really care about the content per se.
Yeah.
I mean, they still care about certain things, but it's all about the thumbnail and the title. That's what
Yeah.
I'm learning. That's what
And
I'm
it's
learning.
also like I think you also get preference the more constantly you post stuff. I mean, the more I'm reading, it's like it's intricate. Like they prefer if you're uploading a 4K video, they prefer that over like 1080p. They give you preference. But again, if like you've got one sort of downvote, one of the monitors are going, "Ooh, he's mentioned something that's not leftist," then they're like, they squish you down. The evil bastards.
Yeah, it's yeah, but I think my content is is okay so far. It seems to be working, so I'm going to keep on doing it.
Yeah, no, it
But
works. It's amazing.
let's see. I see Peter Sawanga is in the chat.
Yay!
I think he's still busy, so he'll join us a bit later. But we also have. I hope Mikhail will be able to join, and Tammy. They were supposed to join us. But if they don't, it's totally okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Just a random chat.
We'll just chat Star Wars then, you know.
No, well, look, I mean, I also want to take questions from the audience who are listening. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have any questions, you feel free to ask.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure
Only
I'll
Star
see
Wars
some...
questions, though.
No. I'm
Why?
pretty sure I'll see some new names in the chats, hopefully. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, let me actually show the article, because again, that one video isn't doing as well as I thought it would, and I don't know, maybe it's the thumbnail, maybe it's the title.
Also, apparently Mondays are shitty days. I actually was reading.
Really?
Yeah, Mondays
But then-
apparently are terrible. I don't know.
But then Fridays are also terrible.
Apparently Fridays are the best of the best days. Friday mornings,
getting-
Friday afternoons.
We're getting different information then.
No, exactly.
Because I was told, and I've researched from the articles I've read, like Friday's the worst because people like are busy. Like
Yeah.
it's people don't want to work, right? They won't necessarily be on YouTube, but they'll be picking up the kids. They'll be going to family or going out. You know, they don't
Yeah.
really go home on a Friday evening and chill. You know, unless it's winter. That was
Yeah.
something they said. Fridays are good on if it's winter.
On winter, yeah.
Yeah. But then again, winter in general, views are up because.
How are you finding the morning thing? Because I kind of prefer. The only reason I do evenings is because I kind of wanna be a late night sort of, you know. I want you to come home, watch my stuff, have a laugh, and then carry on with your evening. You know. Like I'm not a morning person. You're a morning person. I don't know how. You send me messages at something like before 8 o'clock, and I'm like, nothing lives before 8 o'clock in my day. Nothing. 8 o'clock. If you message me, I'm like, you die.
I'm
Just
on
die.
I'm on a new, I don't know what you call it, a new way of living, I guess. No, wait, what's it called? What's the phrase I'm looking for? Like a new thing. Like I've been waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning for the past 6, 7, 8 months.
You have to. You've got to prepare, right?
It's
You can say bye to sleep.
well, yeah, that too. But no, I've actually been waking up early to go to gym. Basically, that's where it started.
Wow, okay.
Because I would wake up early at 4 because it takes me an hour to get out of bed.
4.
Yeah, and then I would get dressed, be at gym by 6, gym till about 7:30. Come home, shower, and start my day at about 8, 9. Like somewhere there.
Jeez. What time do you go to bed?
Early, like
Okay.
9, 10, somewhere there.
Oh Lord, no.
Although the other night I went to bed, I kid you not, at like 7:30. I was tired.
No, see, dude, I only get home at 7 sometimes. Like my evening ends about 12, 1 o'clock.
Lifestyle, that's what it's called. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
Lifestyle, that's the word I'm looking for.
Lifestyle.
Yeah. So, no. Like I it's not that I'm enjoying it because like from 4 till like 6, 7, no one's bothering me, and I can record now, and I can I don't necessarily edit. I edit later, but I'll record my episode. I'll get ready for gym, and I'll go to gym. I'll do my thing, come back, start editing, start doing client work as well. Yeah, it's a busy life, and it's gonna get busier.
Oh yeah, dude.
So yeah, anyway, so the article I wanted to show you guys, let me first make sure that let's see, this is what happens when I don't prepare properly before the show. Sorry, just give me a moment, man. Okay, here we go. So ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't seen my previous episode, feast your eyes on this. Instead of old McDonald's, kids should rather sing 10 days parents had a farm, E-I-E-I. Oh.
I mean, the thing is this, right? All they had to do was go, Old MacDonald had a farm. And on her farm, she can just change it to she. Like, no one said MacDonald was a
No,
man.
no,
It could
no,
be a
no, 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 no,
female
no. You
farmer.
misunderstand, Mork. They don't want any
Oh, of course
gender.
they don't want gender, but they also don't
Yes.
want it to be a European guy from Scotland named
No,
MacDonald.
no, no, no. You see, being urged to make children's rhymes, so all of them, okay, and songs gender neutral in a bid to prevent discrimination against transgender pupils.
What, who's no one's. I mean, what this is for nursery rhymes for what for creches and for
Yes,
preschool.
yes.
I mean, I don't think they know what a gender is.
Apparently, apparently, uh, when you kids that are 3 years old can start sensing their sexuality. Apparently, I am quoting someone.
But I mean, obviously, those are the children that usually hang around Joe Biden, right? Yeah.
Oh man! All right, so for example, wheels on the bus. So that must that the word parents. They must use the word parents instead of mummies. In the lyric, the mummies on the bus go shush shush shush. And then they must also say 10 days parents had a farm instead of Old MacDonald had a farm. Again, I don't know how 10 day is gender neutral.
Oh,
Maybe it is a boy and a girl name. I don't know, but yeah. So
why
so
don't they go? Z's parents had a farm. E-I-E-I. Ree.
it gets worse. So where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So basically, so it's a guide. There's this guide that they want to start putting into schools to advise teachers and practitioners how to teach children about gender neutral terms and songs and all that stuff. So the guide advises teachers to avoid sex specific play materials such as dolls, saying that if the name of the doll, if they want to name the doll, sorry, choose a name that is used for both boys and girls. Okay.
But so what? So the kid's gonna rock up and go like, "This is Emily, my Barbie doll," and then the teacher's gonna go, "No, no, no, no,
It's
you
Sam.
you bigot," slaps her, and then goes, "You call him Sam.
You call it Sam.
You call it Sam. Z. You call Z they them," and then beat the child up because you're these bigoted children.
And no. And then the traditional props such as princess dresses or fireman outfits may encourage stereotypical behaviors and limit learning experiences. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, like that's a weird sentence for me.
Simon.
I don't
I mean,
understand how costumes and like when you're a kid, right? You have I don't know about you, Mark, but like when I was a kid growing up, I was encouraged to use my imagination. And if I
yes.
wanted to be a fireman, if I wanted to be a Superman, if I wanted to be a Superwoman, I could
Yeah.
do that. I could imagine that,
Well,
and it was there, right? In my imagination, I was whatever I thought or I was imagining.
exactly.
It didn't hinder or limit, rather, that's what they used. It didn't limit my learning experience.
Well, obviously, but the thing is, from their point of view, I think it did because they would probably view your worldview as bigoted, thinking the way you think. So what they want to do is they want to castrate people mentally so that you have to think. It's like, that picture where they show like the teacher coming and cutting a box around all the speech bubbles. It's if you're thinking in this term, then when you hit the age of 14, it's like, you've been programmed to think a specific way. That goes against nature, biology, every other species in the entire world in the history of civilization.
Okay, I'm going to read one more part of this and then we can talk about it more. Um, the document calls for a range of colors to be used because boys may refuse to play with anything pink, while girls may claim pink toys as theirs. So, boys are apparently scared of pink and they don't like that because apparently that's bigoted, and girls don't like it when they like pink because apparently that's bigoted too.
So basically, they're just going like, we're going to remove any kind of choice. So what are they going to do when the kids choose these things? What if there is a pink toy and the girl picks up, I want to play with this. The teacher's going to go, no, you can't, you bigot. Well, how does it work? So they're just going to remove any choice, and then when they go to the toy shop, they're going like, why is all the pink toys here at the shop and not at, like, how does that work?
Okay, so and I'm gonna summarize what I said in the video, and please go watch the video. It's actually a good video.
Yeah.
Honestly, the LGBTQ AI plus, yes, I know all the letters, because I wrote it in my script. So LGBTQIA AI, sorry, is it AI or IA? I always get this confused.
AI, yeah, no, it's AI plus. You have to have
Yeah,
the plus.
AI
There's
plus.
another 767 we don't mention.
So if they have a lifestyle, right? They have their own lifestyle, for lack of a better word. They have their own lifestyle. They want to live a certain way. That's fine. I don't care. I really don't.
Neither do I.
I am trying to just, because this is going to upset people. Like,
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
There's a lady. They mention her in the article. I didn't have a chance to mention her in the video, but there is a lady that is petitioning this, and has raised funds, and I think she's gotten. There we go. So there, earlier in the month, news blah blah da 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 exposed petition garnered. So there was a Radaiba, I don't know how to pronounce her name, and garnered up to 140,000 signatures for a petition against the unisex toilets and this. But we can say without a shadow of a doubt that 114,000 people are pretty much upset about this. Maybe they're not like angry, like with pitchforks or whatever, but they're obviously not happy with this stuff, right?
No.
So my idea to the LGBTQAI plus community was build your own school.
Yeah.
Build your own school.
But
Do what you want to do. Have your own policies in there, your own code of ethics, whatever you want, and be open to everybody. So it's an LGBTQAI plus school, but you're open to everybody. Like even straight people can go, whoever, whatever, right, can go in there, but they have to abide then by your
Those
way.
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the same way that a normal school would be open to LGBTQAI kids, but then if those kids go to a normal school, then they have to abide by those rules. So like I say it in the video, if you come into my house, you have to not live by, but you have to respect my rules and whatever. If you don't, I kick you out. Same idea. And I think that's a compromising view or
No, of course.
suggestion.
But this is the same reason why, like, people in this community don't go out and create their own superhero characters. They create their own stories because no one's going to go watch it. No one's going to go to their school. So the only way they can force their ideology on other people is to hijack someone else's thing. It's like, like we've removed religion from schools. Okay, cool. So it's what do you call it? Apolitical. There's no religion, and now all of a sudden they're going to go, well, we're going to bring in this new ideology, this new doctrine, and it's called intersectionality. Gender ideology. We're going to bring that in. Everybody has to believe this. Okay, we've realized over the past 200 years, don't do that because it's wrong. I don't know.
God damn!
How's
Looks like I just stepped in it. Woo! You guys are deep in the weeds.
Yeah,
what's going on, folks?
We starting like we're getting into it.
You went straight up to the gender studies. How you guys doing, man?
Good. How are you, Peter?
I'm very well. I'm very well.
Or
you guys
judo
you guys
coach?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, and apparently you've spelled my name. Oh, it's Red Riding. Oh, it's 1D. Red Riding Hood. One RIDING.
I thought he was making.
And apparently you got to change it to Ho. Red Riding Ho. HOE.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if YouTube's gonna
HO3,
like
as the
that,
kids call it these days.
but I can't.
That Twitter language.
There
Trying
we
to get
go.
into that.
Red Riding Ho.
Such a hoe, Mark.
So how are you guys doing? Have you guys been called
Oh,
racist yet?
No, almost.
No,
No,
no.
not
No,
yet.
Bianca and Robin aren't here.
We're,
Oh,
we're working our way to it. No, but Peter, I'd actually like to get your opinion on this, right? So
Yeah, what's going on?
there's an article. I know you didn't watch my video, but there's an article recently that came out and said that there's basically a paper or a guide that wants schools or young kids,
Okay.
creche and stuff,
Junior school creche level? Yeah.
to change nursery rhymes so that they have gender neutral phrases. So I'll give you an example,
All right.
right? So for example, the lyric in Wheels on the Bus, the mommies on the bus go shush
Right,
shush shush.
right, right.
They're saying that mommies should be changed to
Oh,
parents.
come on.
Parents
For real.
because- yeah. This is a paper, man. They're putting it out there. It's happening. Like they're trying to make it happen.
Which country is this?
South
If you can
Africa.
say. Ha! Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the
Okay.
country you live in at the moment.
That is so. Okay. So this was on where? Oh man, I can't even speak. Where was this on the list of priorities? Of the list
Yeah.
of shit that South Africa has got to get done today, right now, yesterday, last year. Where does this fall? Like, that's number one. Number two. Okay, so we're gonna go. This is that bullshit revisionist history
Yeah.
type thing where you, in order to write the things of now, we got to dig back into the past, like Marty McFly, onto our history. Like, okay, so why stop there? Why stop at nursery rhymes? Why stop at nursery
Yeah,
rhymes?
yeah.
You know, why?
Exactly. Like I said, it's a slippery
else?
slope.
Yeah, like.
Change all of it. I mean, but I just want to figure out who went and where's the study that they said that they looked at that went, okay,
Yeah.
cool. This is going to change the matric pass rate. This thing here.
I want to see the data, like which. Look, you know what I think, Joe? This is one of those things where someone is just trying to vie for power. You know, it's a control thing. I think.
Yeah.
I'm talking very very abstract here. You know, trying to put myself into the mentality of someone who wants, who feels that they have the balls and the goal to be able to go, okay, for a couple of 100 years you guys have been doing this way. Oh, I've got a new idea about how we should get things done.
Well,
That
okay.
is just ridiculous.
But what do you think of my suggestion? Because in the video I mentioned this, where I say, why don't you guys just build your own school, and then you can
start
have
your
your
own thing, yeah?
Yeah, like the Afrikaners did it with Soltech, right? They built their own school. They're open to anyone. They're just Afrikaans. Like everything done there is Afrikaans. So you gotta know.
That's a great
Afrikaans.
idea.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
But they're open to everyone, and the LGBTQ AI plus community can build their own school and do things their way at that school. Be open to everybody, but whoever joins that school has to abide by the code of ethics that they have.
Yeah, that's fair. Like,
And
isn't that how things are supposed to be done in like a democracy or whatever? You know, like a
Thank
free
you,
country.
Peter.
You get
But
to do your own shit the
but
way the fuck
apparently-
you want.
Apparently, suggesting
Yeah.
that makes me a bigot. Apparently.
Oh yeah, you know that word has been so diluted, like the chappies of 2010. Like, I started eating chappies in like '95. You could chew on a piece of chappies for like 2 months. Motherfucker still got flavor. 2010 came. Oh, you chew a chappie for a week. Oh, you probably got cancer. So like, look, let me get back to what I was saying here. I think that it is far easier to be a parasite. Now, and I'm not saying that in a negative sense. I'm saying that you won't be able to build the infrastructure, and by the infrastructure I mean hundreds of years of like cultural history, and you can't just change that in a minute. So,
No.
If you truly believe in your set of goals and ideas, start your own, get it tested out. If it's winning, it's gonna win. Shit,
Yeah.
no matter what, it's gonna win. But if it's not a good idea, god damn it, don't subject other people's kids. They're not your kids, other people's kids, to what you think should be the right thing. Come on, man.
Yeah.
No, but Peter, what you said earlier was it's a form of control. I just found this, like, I remember this quote from George Orwell, and he goes, because basically this is a form of newspeak. It's like
Yeah.
You change the vocabulary, and the reason they do that,
Yeah.
and the quote goes like this: quoted, "Don't you see that the whole aim of newspeak is to narrow the range of thought? In the end, we shall. In the end, we shall make. In the end, it shall make thought come literally impossible because there will be no words in which to express it."
God damn.
And this is
God
all.
damn.
This is basically it is. It controls
It's
what
yeah.
you can do. So there's no male and female, and that's how people live. So you can never upset someone. It's only the old people are going to go like
Exactly.
he, she.
Now you can zoom further in and say, okay, it's control of speech. It's control of narrative also. So
Yeah,
like
well,
when you
100%.
control the words that are being used, you're controlling what's being said. Then
And
you're
you,
also controlling the story. And so like, come on.
but eventually, but exactly, and eventually you're going to control what people think because they're like they don't have the words to say he, she. So it's just they're just gonna use the terms. That's why we should stop using leftist terms. Like they keep changing words. Like they change the definition of what racism is. Racism for the entire
Yeah.
history of the world meant discriminating against someone based on their race. But now it's like, oh no, it's not that. It's like power and prejudice and blah 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 and all this added horseshit that it doesn't actually mean.
You said something that I think I'd go even a step further. I'd say, as far as one can, drop the tribal paradigm, left, right. It's just it. I mean, at this point in time, there is what makes sense and what really doesn't make sense. So I think that's more of a fair, or no, not say fair, but it's a more surgical paradigm because then
Yeah.
you're shielded from from influences on both sides, or whatever Overton window that is.
Well,
Did I
that's
just ramble?
no. That's an interesting point that you make, Peter, because what you're essentially saying is that this whole idea of right and left is almost like a ancient way of thinking now. We as human beings have become so complex that we have different beliefs and different
In a sense,
lifestyles
I'm
that-
not. Yeah, no, you're right.
yeah,
In a
because we're all
sense,
mixed as well. Like I mean, like if you look at my heritage, I'm not completely American. I'm a mix of a lot of things, So, and all of us really are at this point. So there's a lot
there's definitely 2% awesomeness in Biltong, right?
of okay, yeah. And I think like you're right. Like to look at things in left or right or black and white or what have you. There needs to be a gray area. There needs to be purple.
True,
There needs to
true.
be a purple.
But just to add on to what you were saying there, Joe, I actually mean it in more of a labeling and linguistic sense. I think it's important to recognize camps. So that's a left leaning. I mean, those are important to for conversation and defining. But when you're expressing like a what you consider a fundamental idea, like like I am me, you are you, don't fuck with me. Yeah, I mean that's kind of a should be more of a non-partisan. It's like if both camps purport to even dream about what a democracy or like free human beings are, and yeah, so it differentiates. I don't know if I'm making sense there.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think it also if someone mentions like the concept of left right, I mean, I always goes like what I always usually say is define that, define what you mean by left and right, because
Right.
like how I see left and right, and this is how it's been understood for. If you think of the word politics, it's the speak of government. So you're talking politics is about government. So on the one side you have total government, and the other side you've got zero government. So right would be zero government. It would be complete atheism, not atheism, anarchy.
Anarchy, yeah.
Like no ruler, no state, no governing. You do whatever the hell you want to. And on the other side, you've got a dictatorship / monarchy. That is in essence what, if you go look at the origin of the word politic and look at the word government, that's what it has to do. A political spectrum is basically how I view it, is the spectrum between total control and zero control. And that's what I mean when I speak about left and right. That's why when people go like, well, fascists are on the right, you're going, no, fascism can't be on the right because it's collectivism. It's on the left. Fascism is somewhere just between socialism and communism, or just after communism,
Yeah, yeah.
and just before outright dictatorship. The
Ah,
fact that we've changed the language, and this is that what we were talking about earlier about changing the narrative. We're going like, no, this is left, this is right. We're going like, no, conservatives who want like religious orthodoxy over like a community, that is collectivism. That
right,
belongs
right.
on the left. Individual rights is like, that's on the right. Like leave me the alone, like that
Yeah.
type of thing.
I
So
th- I know. Yeah,
sorry.
I know. I know. In my neighborhood, fascism is between Long Street and Strand Street, bro. Let me tell you something. You better not find yourself there
Well,
at midnight.
you guys live a stone's throw away from each other. So, what are you
Oh,
trying
right.
to say, Peter? Are you trying to say that
listen.
he's in the?
Listen, Mork, we
Where
need
does
to talk
Mork
to
fall?
neighbor. We need to talk to neighborhood watch. Things are going down out here.
That's a hectic.
Ah, man.
No, I think. Look,
What do you think on this, Joe?
I honestly, you're right about saying that the right and the left needs to exist in terms of labels, because
Yeah.
you need to characterize things. But I think to label someone as like what the left seems to be doing quite often, or rather the radical left seem to be doing quite often now, is if you say you support guns, then you are a fascist, you are
Yeah.
a right-wing nut or whatever. And it's like, no.
That makes no rational. That is like illogical.
Yeah, aren't you
Um,
finding that kind of shit is fading out now? People are like going, okay, now, yeah, okay.
It depends. If you
I'm
talk
finding there's a bit of
I-
lethargy on this.
No,
People are
I
thinking,
feel that people now are a bit more wary. I think it's something interesting that happened to the world. So before COVID, right, nobody would really talk about politics because they didn't really care about politics, at least in South Africa. I'm talking about in South Africa now. I felt that with the circles I was with, no one really cared about politics. No one really wanted to talk about it. Zuma said some stupid stuff, whatever, we move on,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
He couldn't count. Or something.
Then
joke of the week or whatever. Go
yeah,
ahead.
then COVID happened, and we're forced to stay inside. We're forced to watch. We're not forced to, but we start consuming content, whether it be left-leaning content or right-leaning content or content on YouTube, doesn't matter. But we start consuming content. We start asking questions. We're bored. We start going into these conspiracy theories or just
Rabbit holes.
narratives or whatever, rabbit holes. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Right? And then people become very vocal. And people were very vocal. And were censored.
Yeah, people were stressed out also. I mean,
Yeah.
that heightens.
And then
What the fuck is going on?
and then we get out of it. And what I'm noticing now is we're slowly getting back to that point where
Oh man.
I gotta put food on my table, so I don't really care anymore about
It's
right,
like-
left, politics, whatever. It's messed up. What they did to us was messed up,
Yeah.
but I've got to
Would you
put
say
food on the table.
apathy, like lethargy, like ugh, fuck.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
And it's almost like
I just
I've noticed
want my
even
sandwich.
with people that I have conversations with sometimes that I meet that are new. I feel like we sometimes test the waters now. Like we'll say certain things to see what this person says in response, and if they say something
Comes
that
the best.
if they say something that CNN has said, then okay, I do not need to talk about this topic.
Yeah.
But we
If
still
someone
get
tells
along.
me, someone tells me like, dude, you watch John Oliver? It's just the best. I'm like, okay, so
Oh,
we're not
okay.
talking politics.
Yeah.
Well, give it time. Give it
Yeah. Like that's the thing. I think we're in that way now. We kind of test each other
Yeah, you're
through
right, Joe.
saying certain things, but not full out. I mean, some people, on the other hand,
People are
don't give
dipping
a
their
damn.
toes in water, right?
Yeah, but
Feel
most
it's-
people will just like, just a little bit like, oh yeah, let me say this. What does this person say? And but I will say this, and I'll maybe some of my subscribers, my new subscribers, are like this. And if you are, look, fuck it, be offended. I don't even know if I can say it because it's YouTube, and I almost
Uh-oh.
like
Oh,
like
shit.
Say it.
We're just
okay,
Come on,
okay.
we're just-
Without yeah, but see, there's people out there that hate me, and if they hear this, they'll try and report me. But
Alright.
what I will say is this: there are still people out there when I see them and they are still feel fearful of the spicy cough because
Oh,
they
yeah.
wear certain accessories
Yeah.
that are no longer needed.
Ah, damn,
Um,
your kung
so
fu is really good. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
um, that irks me because in my
Yeah.
mind you have been brainwashed by the CNN corporate media,
Yeah.
machine, and
Mm.
you're a lost cause. I'm not
No,
I'm
no,
not gonna make a
100%.
big deal out of it. I'm not gonna go up to the person and be like, oh, you shouldn't wear that. But I mean, whatever, dude. You want to wear it. It's up
Yeah.
to you. But yeah, it boggles my mind how some people are so brainwashed to that, especially those that wear this garment in a car by themselves.
Oh yes.
I still see that.
No, no, I see that all the time. I see people walking alone with this garment attached just in the
Listen,
middle of the
we
street.
we
But I
live
mean,
in
but the,
we live in South
but
Africa. Those
this is
are
the one
hijackings.
the one part that of this that kind of got me was like is kind of when I found out about it, and this is when I started realizing this is I think it was the news came out in when did the spicy cough start? 2019, 2020.
2019 it started.
Yeah.
March was when
Yeah,
the world
March.
was
Okay, so March, April, May, July, the news came out officially from
Yeah.
the
Winter.
the people who control the medicine in the world. They were like, "Oh, it's airborne." So not as and at the time because of the certain what do you call it government logistics, certain rules that they've put down. For example, if you're a doctor, you can't speak against whatever the government has said. You can't challenge that. As a doctor, you'll lose your license, right? But not a single person came out going like, "Listen here, it no longer has any function." It's just like it just go watch any video of someone vaping and you're with like putting the garment on. Eh.
And just to be clear, Mark,
It's insane.
you're talking about a handkerchief, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm specifically talking about the fabric one. Just any fabric one, it helps. And it's going like, no, it doesn't. You don't need to be a scientist. You need to be an engineer. Path of least resistance. Go watch the car videos of like how air moves, and
Oh,
like
man.
and that at the
Aerodynamics.
time,
Aerodynamics.
exactly. And at the time, it showed me
How
one
do you
thing. It
explain
showed me it showed me how easily people are manipulated by news media. And it's like you'll watch it every day, but since then, no one's actually officially come out and went, "Listen, guys, okay, we're really sorry we made a mistake with this." And that's why you
Yeah.
still have those people that you see every day going like, because they just either they don't have TV or radio, or if they do, not a single person has said, "Listen, it didn't really do anything.
Well,
Sorry, guys."
you know, I reckon a lot of people just want to get on with their day. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I think we're also okay, maybe it's just me. This is probably just me, but I'm being more careful with the friends that I have because I want like-minded people such as you guys. I mean, I know that, like,
Ah,
for
damn!
example,
Don't put your club.
I can kick you off the stream if you
Ah,
like.
shit! Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, but like, I know that I don't agree with Peter and Mark on a few things. I wouldn't say a lot of things, but a few things maybe we'll disagree slightly, or we'll have a different view, or we'll have a different concept, or whatever. And that's fine. I welcome that. I love
Yeah,
that.
pineapple
it's
on pizza.
Always,
What
it's
are you
always
talking
fun. Yeah, no. But but some people I choose not to be friends with, like, especially if you watch CNN religiously. I just want to pick up this. So Patrick Brian Pereira. Is it true the country? That's a very interesting name, by the way. I like it. PBP. Is it true the country will be completely blacked out from the 9th of December 2022? There was a voice recording doing the rounds the whole of tomorrow. Parkland says only off 1 hour. Patrick, be very careful of these WhatsApp voice
Yeah.
notes that go around.
Yeah.
I think it was it last month? Was it last month, or like I think it was in September? Like there was a voice note going around, and everybody was talking about how there's gonna be a media blackout for
Yeah,
like a
there's
whole
always
day.
like one of those every
You
couple of
know,
months.
it was like at the end of
That is, yeah.
yeah. And I told people on this show, I told people on Twitter, I told people everywhere. I was like, it's not every so often there's this
Yeah.
media blackout. It's gonna happen.
If some shit like that would happen, I'll this is what I do. I would pay attention to the sort of middle managerial politicians and what they are doing. If they're making like big moves or they like packing, I'm like, okay, shit is about to go down. But usually, nah.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
actually
If that had to happen, I would go to the bank and take out my money first thing. And if you see queues there, then you know shit's going down.
yeah.
Shit is going down.
No. I don't know why people send these voice notes. I don't know what gratification they get out of it.
TikTok hits, TikTok views. Isn't that what it is?
I don't know, man. But some people get really scared about this stuff. And the thing is, like, it is possible. I'm not saying it's impossible.
But
it is
does PBP not maybe mean blacked out in the sense of like electricity, like load shedding, like?
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
sounds
Is it true the
like that's why I say it is possible, because I was about to
Yeah.
say like load shedding is a serious problem in South Africa, and it depends on what I don't know what the voice note says. Did the voice note say is this going to be complete load shedding, or we're going to have a total blackout from electricity, or did it say there's going to be a media blackout? Like what exactly?
Yeah, and did it have background music? What are we talking
Yeah.
about? What was
Also,
the production value?
what was the guy's WhatsApp? What was his WhatsApp name? Was it like Nigerian Prince, and like did he ask you to buy NFTs afterwards or send him money? I wouldn't trust those ones. Those dudes are dodgy.
FTX Fundi.
Yeah, but every time, like they always link it, like the voice notes I'm talking about, or the videos, they always link it with some historical thing.
Yeah.
Like the last one I saw was about the Jewish.
Ooh, don't go there.
This is not what I think; it's what the guy said in the video.
Oh, you can't even report on it.
Can't
You
I?
literally can't even say what Kanye West said because cancel.
Okay. Well,
No,
anyway,
No, joking. I'm joking. Carry on. No, carry on.
I'll say it this way: there was something this guy was referring to in the Jewish holiday thing every 6 years. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. It's every 7 years. It's the Shemitah.
Yeah. And he was
Yeah.
saying that something's gonna happen and media blackout and I don't know what and
Come on.
and
Who's got
guess
time for
what?
that?
I think it was the 24th of September or something. And guess what? Fuck all happened.
Zero, zilch. Kind of like that preacher in North America who predicted the end of the world, 2012. The Mayan calendar and all of that. Boy, was he wrong.
He did well.
And one of 44, love the name, says if you can't confirm it's with the second or third or even third source, just ignore it. And that's right.
Yeah.
But
There you
but
go.
even
That's good.
even Morg brought up a great point. Is like you will see politicians doing something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's very hard to keep this quiet if something is going to happen. Like so yeah. But I mean, maybe this stream will not age well in 9th of December.
Oh, damn. It'd be so ironic. But for the
Could be.
record, I told you so. I was wrong. I was wrong all the time. The whole time. I was wrong the whole time. I told you so.
Oh man. So I thought Mikhail and Tammy would join, but I mean, I'm not upset. You guys are here. It's great.
We're not good enough. Apparently, we're not good enough for him.
yeah,
We're not good
having-
enough for him, Peter.
No, it's not like that. Having
gonna take
Oh,
this
this
sure it isn't.
Oh
Sure it
my
isn't.
word.
Take the slice out of my evening. Break out my best Merlot. What the hell is this?
You're not drinking wine, are you?
Nah.
Ah,
Oh wow. Okay, so you're not drinking alcohol for the first time. Okay. Man, there's been some streams, Mark, where if you go back, especially during the lockdown, like where Peter just keeps drinking beer,
nice.
Oh, yeah. It was,
and
it was a
you
hell
can
of a
see
time.
after a while, he's like hanging a little bit and like
Conversations are
his
getting
eyes-
loose.
Yeah, and then he just blurts out like random stuff, like "Yeah, boy." Anyway, Let's see if there's anything interesting in the comment section happening. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, leave a like if you're new to the channel. Please subscribe. And
Oh yeah.
Cameron,
So yeah. Go ahead.
Cameron is here. Cameron,
Hi,
good to see
Cameron.
you.
Hi, Cameron.
Go ahead, Peter.
Hi, Cameron.
Cameron was saying, so when do the comics arrive? Is that what he said earlier?
That was
Oh,
Matthew.
what? Ooh,
That was
Matthew.
fighting words.
No, it's
Matthew.
Matthew, man.
I was
Well,
about to call him.
Look, I have two trolls, and I don't know if the one is actually a troll. I know Matthew's a troll. Like Matthew's my resident troll. We just ignore him. Joking atheist.
Someone has to do the Lord's work, eh?
Joking atheist. I can't pin him. I don't know if he's just really sarcastic, or he says things to try and get a reaction,
I love
which would
good
be
sarcasm.
trolling.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good when you can't tell.
But sometimes he does give like interesting comments and good comments. So I'm like, I don't know how to pin him. I don't know. But I leave him there. I leave them both there. They're cool. They're cool. They're like a spider in the corner of your room that's made of web.
Shit.
But
Get outta here.
no,
What?
no. Listen, but they're catching the mosquitoes,
Oh, yes.
and they don't disturb. them.
Okay.
And they've caught like
So
a
that-
lot of mosquitoes. I
that's
don't
a
know.
good
That's how I kind of feel about them. I don't know why.
That's a good partnership. That's
Yeah.
yeah. That's man and spider.
Yeah, and you know
the
that
oldest-
like if you know that if you kill that spider, then the mosquitoes are gonna,
Yeah. It's gonna be a revolt.
I mean, maybe it's just the sort of I don't know, technology vibe in me. Just I trust
the-
Doom more than the spider. I'm like,
I
that
prefer
spider
to-
must take the whole week to catch that mozzie. This Doom's gonna kill it now. Die.
Fuck the ozone layer. I want these motherfuckers dead.
But also, that's actually an interesting thing. Remember when like all the spray cans had like this harms the ozone layer shit on it?
CFC thing,
What
yeah.
happened to that? It's just like they just stopped making errors. Is it like it doesn't do it anymore?
No,
Is
the
it magic
priests-
spray?
The priests use it now. Once a priest started using it, then they were like, oh, okay, so there is beneficial.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah.
So have you guys been watching any new movies lately, this week? What you see?
Ooh, I watched what's the thing with The Rock? The new.
Yeah, Blackadder.
Yeah, I quite liked it. It was actually like, wow.
I
What?
watched, 2 nights ago.
Yeah, dude. I was literally sitting there going, "This is just an awesome movie to watch." There wasn't any forced wokeism. It was just like
I
they
knew that was the
could've-
first thing you were gonna say.
But I mean, it was like there was no like it wasn't pushed in your face. It was just a good story. I think they could have maybe worked on the story,
Yeah,
but it was kind of cool. I think it was awesome. I think
it
also
knew
with,
what it was. It
Yeah,
kinda
I
knew
think
what
also-
it was.
with I think going forward with DC, they've got what's the guy that directed the Guardians of the Galaxy? He did make a shitty tweet, cuck joke, but as a comedian or as
like
somebody who does
Waititi?
comedy.
The
No,
Waititi
no.
guy.
He's a prat. The dude who did.
Favreau.
No. The guy that made he made a pedo joke like a couple of years ago, like 10 years ago. He's the director
Singer,
of Guardians of the
Bryan
Galaxy.
Singer, is it? Bryan Singer?
Oh, is he the new director? No.
Why- Blanking out. He has this show with John Cena.
Man,
Wait,
it's
hold
on the
on.
tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I can't even Google that now.
What's the guy's name? It is James Gunn.
James Gunn.
Yes, there you go.
So basically, what happened was DC have now employed James Gunn as the Kevin Feige of DC.
Okay.
So they want him to oversee like all their shit, which is kind of awesome because this guy is like his movies.
They
so far it's great.
always had the true comic book sort of
Yeah.
feel and,
He
and
stuck to the thing.
the right
I
mix
mean,
of both worlds. Where
Yeah.
Okay,
you know,
but then, oh no, never mind. He wouldn't have directed it. Never mind.
I
he
think
didn't do Thor. He did the last Guardians,
of the
but I think
Galaxy.
he's moved over now. He's basically heading up
nice.
DC.
Well, that's good.
Nice.
I mean, those movies were getting a bit.
Yeah, and I think they want to bring back I know there's deep stuff about bringing. I don't think they'll bring Zack Snyder back, but he's going to head up and he wants to, flesh out some of the ideas that Zack Snyder had. You know, like
Oh shit!
there's some theories and
Is this why Cavill's coming? What is this, Joe? What are you showing us?
what?
The headline was different. I need to find the actual headline. Hold on.
Oh, good lord! Bring on the
I'll be
gender
right
reveal.
back. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just looking.
Adam's Family. I'm seeing a comment. I
mean,
haven't seen
don't
that.
know.
The animated one.
Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
Matthew. Finn's what? Vincent. Yeah. Yes, James Gunn. You were right, dude. Sorry, my bag.
I put that comment up, but anyway.
And no, wait. Joking atheist says, like, guess, yeah, talking DC, guess who got fired at Disney? Yes, but before you believe the hype, Bob Chapek wasn't the bad guy you think he might have been. The
Yeah,
bad guy at
Morg
Disney
did a video
was,
on it. Go watch it.
Yeah,
Okay,
the bad
alright.
guy was basically the guy who was there for 15 years, who fucked
Oh.
up Star Wars. That
Oh,
guy.
right. He was the one in the keys. Paycheck.
Bob
was-
Bob
okay.
Iger was he was basically running Disney for years and years and years, like 15 years, and every single thing because remember now, like Bob Chapek was he took over in 2020 while Bob Iger was with him, sort of shadow CEOing, and then at the beginning of this year, Bob Chapek took over completely, and then basically what happened was they're going everything is coming out woke. It's like, no, dude, you don't make a movie in 1 year. It's like it's 5 years of script writing or 3 years of like writing the thing, getting it approved, getting the funding. It doesn't happen overnight. So Bob Chapek isn't actually. I think they were just about to fire people because of the layoffs that all the social media companies are doing, and he was going to fire like a shit ton of them. And think they stepped in. BlackRock and Vanguard stepped in and went like, no, you won't fire anybody.
Oh yeah. Shit.
But it's got to do with FTX as well. Somehow, I know there's a whole vibe there.
Yo, I don't even know what that is, but I'm curious to know. But I want to ask you guys something. Joe, I posted on Facebook earlier last week. I was just trying to. I was bored.
Test of
I said,
water.
I think we are. I said I think we are beginning to see like the crash, or the dismantling, the early beginnings of like the general rejection of woke culture.
Yeah, I remember that. I shared it.
I put that up there. I just kept it brief because I just said, all these woke companies are kind of losing money. Woke celebrities are being kind of samey and ridiculed. All these woke TV shows.
Yes.
And so they're all kind of just not. Yeah, people are just beginning. The box office is already obvious about this. All these movies are just tanking.
Yeah.
I got some pushback on that. Some guys were asking me, like, what do you mean by woke? Do you think people are rejecting equality and diversity, all of that? So, I kind of wanted to ask, what do you guys think about that whole thing first?
I don't think anyone is resisting equality, and this is what the left have done so well with some people. I think there's a lot of people who actually don't really invest a lot of time in narratives that are being spewed out. I think, again, people are too busy trying to worry about putting food on the table. So I think for any decent human being understands equality is important. You mustn't be racist, you mustn't be bigot, you must accept people for who they are, what they are, blah, blah. The problem is, what is being rejected is the idea that, well, in order for us to feel, or whoever to feel equal, you have to speak a certain way. That's the problem. When those ideologies from one side start affecting or being forced onto another, when that other didn't do anything wrong. And this is what annoys me so much about the left, is they always preach and they always come from a place of like, oh, but we were oppressed, or we had this problem, or I was bullied, or I was this, or I was that, but yet they bully other people to live through or live by their way of doing things, which is so ironic, so unfair. If I choose not to address you by your pronouns, you choose to be offended by that, that's your problem. I don't have to conform to your way of life, just like you don't have to conform to my way of life. It doesn't mean that I'm bigoted or racist or anything like that. It just means that that's not a lifestyle I want to follow, and that's not something that I believe in. Just
Well,
like,
what do you?
sorry, just like if a Muslim comes to me and says you mustn't eat pork, I'm gonna eat pork, dude. Just because you're a Muslim doesn't mean that I don't have to eat pork. I know that if you come to my house, I shouldn't cook pork because you don't eat pork, and I will respect that and I will honor that, and that will be cool, and we'll eat beef and it'll be fine. And I'll make sure everything is hunky dory for you when you're at my house. I'll welcome you with open arms. But the moment you start dictating what I must eat in my own house, that's when you step the line, and
Yeah.
that's what I don't like.
Point.
Yeah,
You-
and I mean, if
Yeah,
I got a good one for you. I mean, the first is like, what when people say wokeness, I think the best sort of to summarize what wokeness is. Wokeness is class socialism expanded to encompass race, gender, and sexuality. The academic term thereof is intersectionality, which was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw in 1991. That is basically wokeness is just intersectionality, and it's exactly what Joe said. It's basically trying to define everything by race, by gender, by sexuality. Everything that someone says, oh, that's misogynist. Oh no, it's this. Oh no, it's the patriarchy. Every single aspect of your life has to encompass this class vibe to
Which
it.
is
Yeah.
which is a very communistic Marxist way of looking at things.
Exactly. It is completely Marxism. Yeah.
Um, and to add to Mark's point, wokeness or woke actually started in America, and its first idea wasn't necessarily what it is now. It started
Yeah.
as actually a very good idea.
It was a
which
positive
is being,
thing.
Yeah, which is being alert to racism. That
Yeah,
was
dude, yeah.
that's it. That's what it meant at the very beginning, at its inception. That's what it meant. And then, of course, the left took it and expanded.
So I want to go back to movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
Segue.
Oh, of
And
course, dude.
movies and culture, because
Well, movies are culture, and what do they
There you
say? Culture, politics is downstream from culture,
Downstream.
and movies are our culture.
So let me preface this. One of the reasons I put that out there was because growing up, I loved TV shows. I mean, anyone that grew up like around the 90s, 80s. I mean, your TV or like Saturday morning cartoons, all the way to like all the great movies we talk about now, usually came from that time. Back to the Future, straight all the way down to The Matrix. That whole decade. I mean, that was a very important sort of part of culture globally. Hong Kong, think about Hong Kong films. I mean, like Asia was in the mix. All those crazy art films from Europe. So now movies and stuff was like sort of the global language. A lot of it was dominated by the States, but generally they were good. And then they started becoming preachy, and this is
Yeah.
becoming woke. What do
Yeah.
you think the effect of that is going to do on culture? We still talk about movies from 40 years ago and the important lessons that we learned from them. Woke lessons, even. I remember Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. It's the first time there was a straight white guy played a gay guy in a big award-winning film. I mean, that was a big threshold moment. Then fast forward to now, where Tom Hanks can't even play most of the characters he used to play and won awards for back in the day. It's like, what does that do to like kids today moving forward? What does the culture look like 30 years from now?
Well, before
I mean-
before we get into that, sorry, Mark, I want
Yeah,
to
go
add
for it.
I want to add Joking Atheist's comment here, because I think it falls.
Yeah.
It can add a little bit more to what Peter's saying. I think all this culture wars are basically broken down to a new emerging culture, a culture of outrage. People are bored and looking for a reason to be outraged, outrage motives. So, I mean, there's some truth to that. I think because look at this. So, everything you said, Peter, 100% right. But we also have to take into consideration where most of this wokeism is coming from. It's coming from the West. It's coming from America. Other countries are starting to adapt it. But, and this is where I agree with Joking Atheist on this. It's like people in America are flipping bored. Like, they're just bored. They got too much money. They got no time. I don't know what people do in America. Not all of them. I would say that the ones that live out in the country, in rural areas or whatever, they don't give a damn. They're just trying to put food on the table, whatever.
Dude,
But
if
specifically,
you're shooting bears, like
Yeah.
you gotta,
yeah, exactly.
you got time for woke.
But if you are someone that's in the city and you have a mojito every Friday after work, and you have I don't know what kind of Starbucks coffee in the morning, and you get to go to Twitter where you don't do any work, you just show off where you work and all the different rooms you can go into, but I never see you work. If you have that kind of life, you're flipping bored and you're looking for things to complain about, basically.
Yeah, you're kind of looking for meaning.
Yeah.
You're kind of looking for that.
Yeah,
great
that's one thing. Like, if you think about, there's the saying, like, the older you get, the more conservative you get, and usually you get more conservative because you have kids. And look at the ideology of the world, and you can look back at, like, and taking it back to movies. Me and the wife were watching Sex in the City, like old school.
Oh.
They were pushing these things about, like, woman doesn't need a man. I can be independent. You're married to your job. Who needs kids? Now take that. When was Sex in the City? Like 20, 25 years ago?
Yeah, just
The
about.
product of the children growing up on that, the young woman growing up on that, they're the people running, Disney. They're the people that work at all these tech companies. They don't have. And the thing is, when you remove religion, when you remove children, when you move this kind of meaning out of your life, what is there left? There's nothing to fight for. If you have a child, or, like, you're fighting, like back in the day they were fighting the war. That was the meaning. Like, this is the
yeah,
goal.
shit.
Now it's like there's nothing. What are we going to fight? Yeah, the fact that men sit with open legs. We have to destroy this thing.
I'm fighting all
And
the
it's just
haters.
like you're fighting nothing. You're
I'm
fighting
fighting
because
all the haters.
there's no meaning to their lives. Like, if me and the wife have kids, like, I couldn't give a fuck about anything else. That's my priority. What do I do for this young child? But now, if, like, you don't have, like, well, you got time to bitch about social injustices that mean nothing. I mean, there's no woke people that are protesting with the people in China right now. No one's giving a shit about them.
No way.
The people being
I don't think anyone knows what's going on in
executed,
China right now.
the people being executed in, what was it, Iran, for protesting. The thing with the hair, I didn't see anybody in America, like any of the news journalists, like, the woke going, we need to support this thing. They couldn't give a shit about it.
No, it's always been fascinating to me as well. Is like, the LGBTQ AI plus are always ranting about it. We're oppressed. It's like, dude, give me a law that oppresses
Exactly.
you. Number one, because, and if you really want to know what oppression feels like, move to an Arab country where they are literally throwing LGBTQ AI plus people off buildings and sending them to get therapy.
Exactly.
Like-
Just for they even just suspect you. It's like, yeah, off with his head.
Yeah, like that's the thing. And like I know from living in Egypt, like if you were part of the LGBTQ AI plus community, which at the time was probably just L and B and G.
And it was only L&B.
Yeah.
It was only L&B.
Like I knew a few Egyptians that were gay or whatever, and they were cock scared.
Well, of course.
Cock
That's a
scared.
horrible existence.
Yeah, no,
Um,
dude, that's
No
because
human
they
being
knew.
should live like that, eh?
And I
No, of
agree.
course not.
No one should live like that.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. But it's culture. And you live in that culture, you either respect it or you don't, or you move out and you find like that you can move to America and you can be free and stuff like that. But I would love for all these LGBTQ AI plus people that say that they are oppressed when they're living in America, which is one of the freest countries in the world, go to Egypt or go to Saudi Arabia, or which is even worse, by the way. Saudi Arabia is worse than Egypt. Is more liberal in comparison to other Arab countries. Go there and see how people treat. I mean, when you go to Saudi Arabia, if all of us went now, right, and we brought our wives and girlfriends or whatever. Sorry, let me clarify that. If Peter brought his girlfriend,
God damn. God damn.
Morgan and I don't have
I was
girlfriends. We
waiting,
have
bro. I
wives.
was- Phew.
Okay.
Give me an out. God damn.
Sometimes my wife watches this, and I need to be careful. So, If we brought our wives, Peter brought his girlfriend or whatever, and we went over to Saudi Arabia, there's certain areas that you go to in Saudi Arabia where Westerners can be, and they
Yeah.
don't have to dress in a certain way, and they're free. But there's areas, designated areas. What does that remind you of? But it's accepted. And the moment
no.
you go out of that area, you understand that you have to cover up and respect the culture.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's their country.
Yeah.
It's their laws. They're allowed to do that. I have no problem with it. But I don't see any LGBTQ AI plus member of the community going to Saudi Arabia and saying, this is not freedom.
Yeah. But also that's the point still, because also the thing is, and what
Biggest
irks me the most is the fact that the people in the freest country in the world carry on like they're living in the oppressed Saudi Arabia.
That's
Like,
kind of embarrassing.
oh my God,
That's kinda
this Orange man is saying things. I'm being oppressed. It's like, no, you're
kinda
not.
laugh at that. I
Just
kinda laugh.
block him. Oh my God! Like, I can't believe people don't know what a block button is. Do they not know it's there? Do left wing phones not have the block button? How does it? I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I will say this. I think, because I don't want it to sound like I'm bashing the community
of
or
course not.
whatever. But I will say this. I do think the LGBTQ AI plus community in South Africa is more conservative than the American one. I don't know. Like, I've actually met a conservative gay man. And it sounds weird.
Literally, so have I.
But like, he was complaining about other members in the LGBTQ, like agreeing with me, like, no, I hate those guys, man. They make us look bad and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't like awesome. Like,
That's a dichotomy. Good. Well, welcome to the shit show.
But that's almost like
true
but that's
equality, don't you think?
that-
That's true equality.
Yeah,
When
of
you
course.
give-
But I mean, that points out a thing. It's almost like because someone happens to be maybe part of the LGBT community, it doesn't mean that they're politically aligned with a certain
No.
thing.
no, absolutely.
You know, it's like almost like black people in America. Like, the whole vibe is like, well, they have to all vote Democrat,
No.
and it's like, no, they don't.
That's
And then everybody who votes Republican is, oh, they're Uncle Toms or some shit. It's like, what kind of world do we live in where you like define what someone's political affiliation is by the color of their skin? You
Well, I mean,
absolute
yeah,
racist.
I've seen people on social media go after Peter for some of the things he said. You know, like, no, I'm not even kidding. He knows. Like, I remember once you
I
replied to
kind of
someone.
love it, but go ahead.
You replied to someone once, like, please don't call me an Uncle Tom or something. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, yeah, look, I've been getting that quite a few times over my life. My response is usually because when you don't have an argument, you go for the character.
Yeah.
You know,
Character assassination.
Yeah, when
100%.
you can't substantiate your point of view, you go, oh, but why do you think like that? Well, I think like that because I've thought about it, and this is my opinion on it. Oh no, you haven't got the facility in your mind to be able. Somebody else must have planted. Oh, really?
It's like
Somebody else
such
thought-
racist shit.
That is so
Yo.
fucking racist. I've had oh, bless her heart. I don't know if she was aware. I've had that being told to me by a really good friend of mine.
I know who you're talking about.
White guy.
Oh, white guy.
White guy. And we were talking when he was like, no, but I was telling him that I don't really buy into this feeling oppressed thing
Yeah.
by default. I don't get it, you know. As long as you're out of my way, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll do my own fucking thing, you know.
Yeah.
But he was like, but don't you, but you're black. No, I'm good, dude. I'm good. No, you can't be good. You know, you don't even know how badly you are oppressed. I was like, oh.
You don't even know.
I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but like it's like he was trying to make excuses for me
Yeah.
having just deferring thought and unexpected thought.
Question.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, this has been
Hold
since
on.
I was a kid. Even let's go.
Question. Was the friend you were talking to black or white or colored or?
Oh, they were white.
Okay.
I
See-
only get that. I only get this kind of thing predominantly from white liberals.
Yeah, but that's what I was about to
Usually,
say.
white
It's
liberals are the
usually
ones
them.
that are going. But you.
But I mean,
I don't
I
give
mean,
a fuck. I don't really.
The way I also look at it, I find like a lot of black people, especially in South Africa, tend to be more conservative. I mean, it's culturally they're
South
more
Africa's very
conservative. It's like, you know,
With
I just find it like,
family.
yeah, exactly,
family.
family. Like that, the
religious.
principle of family is like it's one that makes people very conservative. It's like I care about my family. You know, these are
Yeah,
cultural things that have been
community.
like
Yeah,
you, and you'll see it. You'll see it in the Xhosa community, in the Zulu community, in
Oh,
the
yeah.
Afrikaner community. You'll see that. I only find it with the very English communities where it's like you don't. It's always the English communities that are seem to be a little bit more easily left wing. You know what I mean? Politically.
Specifically, English people who are not religious, because
No,
religious
100%,
English
yeah.
people are
Yeah,
still
yeah.
conservative.
No, no, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So those that are atheist or whatever you want to
You
call
better
it,
cite your sources. You better cite your goddamn sources. Where are you? Where's the documents? Where are the documents?
Yeah.
I
You're
think
gonna hear that.
I think it is the worst thing. And the thing is, like, they don't even see it. Someone to come to a black man and say, no, you don't know how to feel.
Yeah.
It's
What?
condescending as shit. It's like, what are you talking? Do you even know what you're saying? Yeah.
Did you,
That's
have you,
usually
have
when
you,
I know they've lost an argument. It's-
have you guys ever watched the interview? I think like some MSNBC or CNN or someone had an interview with Wiz Khalifa. No, what's the other dude?
Was it
I think it was
um,
the guy with like all the chuppies on his face.
was
Yeah.
it Little Wayne or
That's
Wiz?
that's
Lil Wayne,
all of
sorry,
them.
Little Wayne. It was with I think it was Little Wayne, where they go like,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, the way.
He tells a story of like, man, I never experienced racism.
Oh shit.
In my life, the only racism I experienced was from a black man. And I'm going like, geez, dude, like,
That triggered a lot of people. That one.
yeah, no, people were upset, you know.
Well, I mean, like, there's I don't know if do you guys know a website called Racism Is Not the Problem?
No,
No.
no.
Dot
What?
.com, .co,
I'm gonna bring it up now. Just give me a second.
All right.
And you know, it's a similar thing that is pretty much happened in South Africa. Is that the IRR did some polling, and they found some interesting stats. I'm gonna bring it up now, and this is every wokey in South Africa. They hate this. They
Yeah.
like this. This to them is racist stats. This is like when you like. they'll be
Hate
like,
facts.
Yeah, hate facts. All right, but here, okay. So they did a polling that said they asked people. All right.
Yeah.
What is the most serious problem that the country is facing? Okay, that's what they asked people, right? So they asked them about all this. Well, look at the first thing.
Yeah,
Unemployment.
So
Unemployment.
obvious. You speak to anyone. That's
yeah, dude.
That's the
100%.
first thing.
All in one.
Why? Because that means you want to make money, so you can buy a
Yeah.
house, you can put food on the table, blah blah blah. Then crime.
Trying to get out of poverty. Okay.
Yeah, safety
Yeah.
and crime and security would be the second problem. That's number 2.
Yeah.
That's the second. Third, corruption.
I mean, like corruption, basically that connects to unemployment because that's the government taking your money. So,
Fourth is housing. Fifth, service delivery. Water and sanitation is sixth. Seventh is education. Poor
These are all the protests.
Eighth,
yeah.
Eighth
No, exactly.
is poverty and social inequality. 9 is infrastructure. 10, women and children abuse. Okay, so the top 10. Do you see racism?
No.
Exactly. You want to know where racism is? All the way at the bottom.
Damn.
It is,
Yeah,
and here's the thing. It's something to be made very clear here. Racism is a problem in South Africa. It can be a problem in South Africa. Definitely, I've experienced it. I know other people have, and I mean,
Shit, I'm experiencing it now.
sorry for you.
Yeah, because I mean, like, it's like right now, it's like it's 2 white guys and 1 black
Yeah,
guy. It's
what's
like
going on here?
this is
Where's
not
the diversity?
representation of South Africa. This is oppression. I know. I'm sorry.
This is
I'm really
ridiculous.
sorry.
These numbers ain't right.
So, it is a problem, but it is everybody does not believe that racism is a problem in South Africa. And if you look at the black, right, 3.1% of blacks
Sure.
in South Africa think that it's not a problem, that they've made it last on the list. Black people.
Yeah, that 3% think it's an issue.
Yeah.
Only 3%. That's insane.
And remember, black are the majority in this country.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's fucked up about racism? is that in this modern sense, not that, you know, the craziness about racism in this current modern state is that if racism was to disappear tomorrow, there's a whole lot of organizations, individuals, and people would be out of a job. So like it's so weird. It's like there's a whole economy surrounded around elimination of racism. All these degrees, all of these diversity things, all these departments. If racism were to disappear tomorrow, we're talking about, I think, $1 billion industry, $1 billion.
Well, there'd also be an entire political party would disappear. The EFF.
Yeah, so
I mean,
now-
what would they run on?
So now you have to ask. Okay, do we really want to end racism, or do we want to? Do we want to keep trying to end racism? Like, so yeah, I always thought, you know, geez, you're a professor of ending racism. But like, how do you?
Yeah.
If it ended tomorrow, what are you called? Jack? Rufus? I don't know. Like, what do you call a retired racism ender?
I mean, I've got weird thoughts about it. The concept of racism, in the sense, not like shitty thoughts. I'm going like, I just like this whole vibe of like wanting to end racism, right? It's like, yeah, that's cool, but like, people are going to believe something, whether you're making something illegal, which is like people hate you because someone hates me because I'm white. Someone around there does. Someone hates you because you're black. Someone hates, you know, Joe because he's not a real Mexican because he can't eat chilies, you know?
Yeah, damn, yeah.
There might be someone on this panel that doesn't like him for that, you know? But, and I'm going like, but why do you want to make that's the thing. The issue I have with this racism is like, it's a belief. So how can you, like, basically what we want to do is we want to outlaw what people believe. And I'm going like, you know, like the classical liberal in me is going like, I kind of have an issue with that. Like, I think racism is completely wrong, but at the same sense is like, how do you enforce this? Like,
Are you saying it's like sort of parallel to trying to thought control?
yeah,
Which is
but
kind
it
of-
is.
so
It
if you
is basically
zoom
thought
out,
control.
it is kinda-
We want to stop you from thinking this thing, and it's like you're never going to stop that. I mean, like, you can never end it. It's like, you know, racism has been there since the beginning of time, and it's like, but again, in 2022, right? How is racism worse? Because that's how people are carrying on. Like, today, racism is so bad; it's worse than back when there was slavery. It was worse
Dude,
than when.
it's horrible now.
impossible.
Mark. I mean, when was the last time you saw a black Band-Aid? Huh? It's fucking ridiculous. We need to go we need to go to Pfizer. We need to go
I
to
can't
Johnson
believe
&
that they
Johnson.
don't have black band-aids. It's like,
God
it's
damn
Africa.
it.
You know how much money they would make? I don't get it.
I'm feeling oppressed right now, bro. Shit.
See, this is my whole. It's a great comment. Joking atheist. I hate people with beards. Like, can I tell you guys something that's funny? Did you know that in regards to hate speech, saying I hate you is not considered hate speech?
It's a term of endearment.
Think
in my
about that for a
relationships.
second. Like, hating someone isn't actually hate speech. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, shit. Look, just to be clear on my side, I think the pursuit of justice, the pursuit of fairness, equality in the treatment of each other as a human decency. Nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But the idea that you want to bully other people into liking you, I don't think that's kind of fair.
Yeah.
I want the freedom to hate beards and shit.
No, but that's the thing. It's like, it's a slippery slope, you know, when you're going like, you can't hate someone based on their religion, their gender. Okay,
Cheers,
cool.
Zach.
So what if I hate you because you don't have a beard? You know, like, you know, and I'm like,
That's a love-hate relationship. I think that's where Hollywood comes in.
but I can love you and
that's a
hate
really
you at
good
the same time. You know, like, I can hate you that you don't have a beard, but I can love you because you're an awesome person.
Beards are chin nut sacks made of
Oh
hair.
shit!
Ew!
I'm gonna go shave now. All right. I also wanted to mention this. You know, going back to the point of Lil Wayne or whoever it was that said I haven't experienced
Lil Wayne.
racism. So there was another question asked: have you personally
Oh, yeah.
experienced any form of racism over the past 5 years? Yes, no, not answered. So look at that. Black say no.
Oh, wow.
81%
Wow.
of black people said no. They have not experienced racism.
I'm
over
surprised
the
the
past 5
Asians
years.
is still that high. I would say it would have gone down to 50 or something like that.
Well, the foreign, so there's also that. But there you go. The majority of people in South Africa, whether you're white, Asian, colored, black,
Okay, let me-
or whatever, 80% of South Africans
I'll
have
play-
not
I'll play
experienced racism.
I'll play devil's advocate. Yeah, because these are some compelling numbers, and if you walk around in your daily life and just ask anyone, you would get the same percentage.
Yeah.
I have personally. Like, when was the last time you were called a kaffa? People
Hey,
couldn't
you-
remember.
you
I
can
think,
say-
And
I
cancelled.
think Thabo Mbeki was still president. That was one of the answers I got. But either way, devil's advocate. What was the sample size, and who took that survey, and what
Of
was their
course.
motivation? Who did they vote for?
Exactly. But another thing would be like, another question would be, define what you mean as racism. Like what did they find is like being called something specific, or would it be like, someone looked at me funny, like someone crossed the street because like I was walking and there was a chick and she crossed the road. I was like, that's racism. Like, what is it? Like.
No, but Peter, you actually bring up a good point, because like there are people out there that will say like, yeah, but what was the sample size? You only asked like 10 people. Huh. Okay, so here's the thing, right? It is physically impossible to call 60 million people to do a survey. That's not how it works. Plus, you have to account for kids. You have to account for people who are maybe disabled, so on and so forth, out of the age range, whatever you want to call it. So that's why they do sample sizing. And whether it's 2,000 or 10,000, there's a formula that these guys use, these people who do this market research, who do it for big companies, that is actually within a certain percentage range. So they'll say, okay, there's about a 3% margin of error, which means if it's 80, like this graph said, or this data said 81%, so it's maybe 79 to 81% of South Africans. That's how it works, but it's usually on point, and it must be said as well, a snapshot within time.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
At that time when that survey was done, those are the numbers.
You gotta trust the geeks. You gotta trust the lab coats.
Why are you like this?
So these are facts. Like, come on, man.
Not face garments. I don't know if I trust the lab people with the face garments. I'm still waiting for someone just to tell me, listen, is that legit or not?
Hey,
Because-
Joking Atheist actually brought up a good point. I didn't
The
even
Fauci
notice.
cloth.
What do you say? Yeah.
He said, more important, the highest
Oh yes, yeah.
number of people who do experience racism is whites, and he's right.
Well, it's probably only the people that watched the Julius Malema thing.
That's,
I don't even know what's going on with that, eh? Is that's
shouldn't do
something
that.
that happened recently?
But
No, it's
yeah.
like the thing where, like, he wants to shoot the.
Oh
ball.
yes, yes.
Maybe he means ball, I mean, maybe didn't he not mean ball, like like the wild.
Oh,
ball?
the
Why do you
No-
hate your own people, man?
My people. I ain't no farmer. I'm Old McDonald.
You are descendant.
that is blasphemy right there.
Yeah, you are Afrikaans, but
I
whether
are
you like it,
Afrikaans.
whether you like it or not,
The Germans would have something to say.
embrace it. Yeah, your brother, man, really doesn't like being called Afrikaans. Like I
Oh yeah, no, he was
like,
like,
he's-
I'm not Afrikaans.
yeah, it's like man, but like I don't know, man. Like I do get where he was coming from though, and I do get where you come from as well, but I mean, the argument he gave me, I was like, yeah, but you can find that in any grouping of people,
Yeah.
like that doesn't mean that all Afrikaners are like that.
No, of course.
And I don't know, like I've grown to really embrace and love the Afrikaans culture, because like my wife, half of her family is Afrikaans, like baie Afrikaans, dik
Yeah.
Afrikaans, like they the kind of Afrikaans people that it's very difficult to speak English,
Oh, here we
and
go.
and
Here we go.
and they try to speak English out of respect for me, but they quickly forget that I don't know Afrikaans.
You better come on board, son.
But I'm not a dick about it. Like
Yeah,
if they speak Afrikaans, like it's totally cool. Like I should actually be making the effort to learn Afrikaans.
I can't wait for your comedy specials, like over the coming years, bro.
Yeah, like Afrikaans Joe.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually working. I'm
Joe.
working. I actually at my last I opened for Barry like a few weeks ago at the
Yeah.
Boer. So yeah, very.
Oh,
Here we go.
that's
There you
very-
go. There we go.
And I actually spoke like Afrikaans. So I'm
Oh,
starting.
shit.
I'm
Is
starting.
there a
to
recording of
implement-
this?
Yeah,
like when you,
there is.
It's like if you're doing cuck, they throw you with like pork, like lamb chops.
and then I eat it.
Get the stage. They don't
Yeah.
have food there. It's like sausage and braai.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know how good that food is.
That's delicious.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, thanks
He
for
would
the free food.
intentionally bomb a joke.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah, I
Looks
think
like it's gonna throw you with a lamb chop.
I was leading into a joke about why I don't know Afrikaans, and at the beginning, because I knew it was like Afrikaans, like even Paul went with me, and even he was like sitting there in the restaurant, and he's like, dude, this is like the most Afrikaans place I've been to in the 7 years he's been in South Africa. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty Afrikaans. But we're sitting there, and then I'm thinking like, it's clearly Afrikaans crowd, not a problem. And I'll try and work some Afrikaans in. So I'm trying to remember what I said. I said, ek praat nie Afrikaans nie, maar ek dink Afrikaans mense baie mooi.
Yeah, man. You spoke Afrikaans like a Japanese businessman. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Like, hey, Mister, you're out here to sell the Mitsubishi.
Ever.
Buy a donkey. Buy a donkey.
But
Mr.
that's why I did it,
Awesome.
because it's a very interesting situation, because they appreciate the fact that I'm trying, but they're laughing because I'm making a fool of myself.
Ah, shit, man.
So,
Oh, they got
which I
feelings
don't
now.
mind. I don't mind. And I actually really was trying, and then my wife actually gave me the proper, because what I wanted to say is I don't speak Afrikaans very well, but I think Afrikaners are really awesome people. That's what I actually wanted to say. So my wife gave me the proper translation, and then I read it to her, and she was like, "It's not as funny as when you just wing it." So I was like, "Okay, I'll wing it then." So yeah, what's going on? You guys seem distracted by something.
Sorry, man. I was
No,
somebody
no.
just tried to call me, but yeah. But tell me this: what is the quintessential image of a modern Afrikaans man? Like, you know, because the sort of the image of the modern Afrikaans man is like you know, traditional guy, likely
Two-toned.
engineer, likely from the agricultural sector or
Yeah.
some
He's
sort of
got those-
engineering.
He's got those khaki shorts on that are spray painted on.
Yeah, and Crocs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Gotta have the Crocs.
good knowledge on any sort of mechanics, Hilux Bucky. What's
Always has to be a
mean,
Hilux Bucky.
I think I've
I don't
got
know.
I mean, I've got a different sort of image of the Afrikaans thing, because I was like, you know, I was there when like Fokhoff, you know, went from this like little band and they became this thing, and I noticed how all of a sudden at the time, because we like, it was kind of like the new South Africa, and I think a lot of Afrikaans kids at the time were like, they don't want to be associated with this language which was part of the oppressor, and how through music these people, like these kids, found an identity. I like, you know, like I love my language and I do have a culture, you know, and it's not associated with these retards who did this cuck thing. Like, just because they also happen to be Afrikaans doesn't mean I am. That's, I think, and I saw a lot of kids going like, you know, I love my language, I love my culture, and I think that was a thing as well. I mean,
so they were the kind of, because I also noticed that at the same
Question:
time.
was there 44 of them?
only 44.
I can tell you that the 44 were at Barry Hilton's show. They were definitely there.
All of them.
All of
The entire all the Afrikaans South Africans in South Africa were there.
yeah.
44.
Yeah, apparently Patrick W is number 46. So 45 is
Oh,
missing.
there you
45 is missing. But
Oh,
we'll
man.
find him soon. Or them or she.
No.
This one thing I will say about South Africans in general, Afrikaners, colored, black, white, the sense of humor that South
Yeah.
Africans have is unprecedented.
Oh no, dude,
And I
it's
love it.
insane. And it's anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I fucking love it.
And you know what? I think it's a testament because there's always this thing in comedy. Peter, you'll know what I'm talking about. The more depressed a comedian is, the funnier they are.
It's a weird inverse rule.
Yes.
But it's kind of
And-
generally true.
Yeah, and I feel that it's kind of the same when it comes to South Africa, because if you think about it,
Yeah.
we are in
Oh,
big
you're
trouble.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of problems, but we use
We're
humor
making
to
fun of
cope.
it all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, dude, I totally agree with you on two fronts. Both, as an immigrant. 45. Oh yeah, I'll give him that one. Well done. Oh, shit, that's so meta.
that's a good one, Matthew.
Someone said hot girls.
No, I say that on two fronts.
Banhammer. Banhammer. Sorry.
My absolute appreciation for South Africa. I mean, like I would consider myself a true patriot in sort of sense.
Yeah.
I wasn't born here, but I've lived here all my life. I've never gone back to my home country.
You're South
I-
African, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I've absorbed everything. Yeah, and in whatever flavor that I could take it in, right? And I've noticed that if you separate the politics and the bullshit crap, normal, average, everyday South African, if given a fair shake, it's fucking fantastic.
Mm.
I think those, and that forms the majority of people. The majority of people who are suffering through this whole fucking ESCOM bullshit.
Yeah.
The majority of people whose pensions are being taken away. Those are the legends. And you're right, Joe. This is one of the very few places on this planet where you can get all of these kinds of diamonds, and that takes a lot of pressure.
No,
I mean, to formulate all these. I'm talking metaphorically speaking,
Yeah.
and also culturally speaking. Think about this. Somehow, this part of the world made it through a dark time in the African continent without mass sort of whatever. That's a testament to the content of character of
Yeah.
the people. The people.
Exactly.
I'm not talking about politicians and the crap. I'm talking about the average everyday person on the street out here who just wants a second chance, an opportunity. I think it's, yeah, man.
Man,
I think we all should be at least have one Veldskoen.
I think the ANC knows this. I think the ANC realizes that if given half the chance, South Africans are, I mean, already South Africans are resilient people. If given half the chance, we would be such a prosperous country. And the ANC doesn't want that. The ANC wants all the money. They want to keep people.
There was a time when
Oppressed.
they were like kind of riding that, and there was a
Yeah.
time, when
Yeah.
the Madibas and all of those
Yeah, I
guys.
know, 100%.
But even then, it was kind of still, it's politics. There's
Yeah.
always going to be some
Yeah.
diciness.
Yeah.
It was less dicey. Now it's like, God damn it.
No, it is, and the thing is, like, like what you reminded me, or this conversation in general reminds me of like when I went to Riversdale, very small town, like in the middle of nowhere in the Western Cape, and I'll never forget the humbleness that I experienced at a Wimpy. Like, this waitress was probably the most polite, nicest little colored lady I have ever met in my entire life. So polite, so nice, and it's crazy to me because like I remember like I was with my wife and we were like saying like, wow, the service here is amazing. And obviously it's a small town, everybody knows each other, but when you're in the city or next to Cape Town or whatever, you don't experience that, and it just shows.
Sit down,
you how-
motherfucker.
Yeah, and, like it just shows you how genuine people can be when they're not influenced by, I don't want to say Westernism, because Western society isn't necessarily all bad.
How about this? The cynicism, like just like that whole, because there's a general disdain for existence in certain ideologies. Just being alive is just shitty. I'm oppressed. It's fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know if is that what you're trying to say.
Probably, because like I don't think that colored lady thought she was oppressed, and she's working, she's doing her thing, she's providing for her family. I mean, I didn't have a political discussion with her, but she seems all right and happy. But I mean, other South Africans seem to think they're still oppressed, and it's like crazy to me because it's like the people that are in power are black, like.
Yeah.
No,
But
I mean,
it's
I think
also tough to say. Like, look, I've been broke numerous times in my life, where it's just life is difficult. And sometimes you are given a legitimate reasons as to why you're in your position in your life, and a lot of, I mean, we were looking at that list: service delivery, all of this stuff, schooling. A lot of people are disappointed and let down. I would say it's misdirected anger. Would you say?
Yeah.
Misdirected frustration, as opposed to. I don't know.
No, I think it's no, you're on the right track. But I think it's coordinated misunderstanding, coordinated in the sense of you have a political party coordinating people to focus that anger, so that it's not on them. Because if think about it, the ANC have been running the country for the last 28 years. If the country's failing, it's on them. But to do that to admit guilt would mean to lose votes. So they have to direct it at a different angle. They have to direct it at it's racism. They have to direct it at its white monopoly capital. They have to divide people in order to retain power. It's unfortunate, But I mean, you're on the right track.
I was trying to sort of go down to the individual in general. I could see how someone can feel oppressed when like everything around them is letting them down. But you're right also, Mook. The anger is almost mostly misdirected.
Yeah.
It's usually misdirected to your neighbor who's also fucking suffering under the same circumstances, under the same sort of umbrella.
Yeah.
And it's kind of horrible.
But it's that easy thing. I mean, politicians have been doing it for ages, going like, look at your neighbor next door. He's got a car, you don't. Like, he should pay. Why is he not paying his fair share? It's like it's kind of Marxism. Of course, it's a great tactic.
I mean, that's what the EFF does. Like, look at the white people; they have all the money, they have the big houses, blah blah blah. They still do it, and that's where it gets misdirected. But it's a ploy to that's why ANC always blames apartheid or racism or whatever you because they're trying to deflect from themselves. It's not our fault that we're in this mess. It's apartheid.
We didn't screw this up.
We're
trying. Fighting corruption, but the corruption is that the apartheid government started that corruption. We're just like we're really trying to sort it out. Like the ESCOM, that was white monopoly capital. They built it, and we're really trying to make it better, guys. Like just another 28 years.
I think that paradigm needs to start falling apart because it's not helping anyone.
Yeah, but I mean, again,
at some point you're right. I think at some point we, as South Africans, we got to go. Okay, is what we are working? No. And we kind of
But I mean, at the same time, it's almost like I always go. I think, we think that the ANC don't know what they're talking about. I think they do. I think they're very clever because it's strategic in everything that they do. It's like, let's keep the education system fucked so that people aren't able to think for themselves. So that they can't go like, wait, hold on a second. The ANC has been running the country for 28 years. How is that, someone else's fault? It's your fault, And I think it's very strategic. They use this. It's like, if you do this, we're going to give you this. I don't know. It's
exactly.
I think they're
and
clever bastards.
It's empty promises as well.
Yeah.
Before we talk about anything else, I just wanted to mention there's 15 minutes left of the stream. I can't believe how quickly
Wow.
The stream went
Oh,
by.
shit.
But also wanted to explain to one of 44, this is not roasting the headlines. This is just a random chat.
Oh, yeah.
It's just for fun. We talk about anything, everything. We try and also engage with you guys and have these deep conversations. I like this kind of format, and we might do it
Yeah,
again.
I think it's
Maybe
fun.
we can
Oh,
do
why
it
not?
once
This
a
is
month.
great.
Yeah,
We can see if
it's
we
like
do
you
it once a
can-
month.
You can do like a talk and, talk about something
Yeah.
Let's have some
instead of
topics
jumping.
Um,
Yeah.
But
as general topics.
because
Yeah.
actually Peter will know, we used to do this in the lockdown as well. We had,
Yeah.
we had a
those
whole
are fun.
series on wokeism
Fun.
and stuff like that in the industry and all that stuff, which is still available on my channel if anybody wants to go and watch
Yeah,
it.
it's a great
Just search for woke Joey Media or whatever. That came out wrong. But also, ladies and gentlemen, speaking about comedians roast the headlines. This Thursday, you do not want to miss this episode because, ladies and gentlemen, the legend Barry Hilton will be joining us that evening, and he's going to be our honorary guest on the show, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, do keep an eye out for Thursday evenings. Comedians roast the headlines from 8 p.m. I'll start the stream at 7. Have a general chat with you guys, and then at 8 p.m. everybody joins in and we start roasting the headlines. And thank you to those who have been sending in headlines. I've got them, and for this Thursday I'm picking the best of the best headlines.
Nice.
The best of the best of the best of the best. Like, it's gonna be top notch. So yeah, really excited about that. Okay, now that the housekeeping is done, 100% was good. Cool. And don't forget to smash the like button. It's free.
Smash like.
Subscribe, man. Go check out Mork Rock Show, and please just YouTube Mork Rock Show. You'll find it. Really good content, and also Peter. Like, we've been waiting.
Here we go.
We've been waiting for
Good.
your podcast to debut.
Come on, Peter.
Okay, so I'll give you an update. Give you an update of what's going on. So today, actually, coincidentally, at 3 p.m. this morning, the platform that I hired to host my podcast, the payment went off. So yeah, the studio's in there. I've got some topics. I've got some guests. I'm trying to get some back episodes ready, so I can have like 3 ready and released. And yeah, but trying to find time to edit.
Well, I
Yeah,
got-
excuses. I don't want to
You
talk
can
too
do
much.
it.
more.
I believe in you.
It's getting done. So
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I don't care about the excuses.
I do have a name for it.
I'm just disappointed that Mork and I weren't invited.
Oh, you
Yeah.
motherfucker.
What
No. Like, let me get my shit together first, and then I'll bring the prime time dudes.
Whatever, dude. Whatever.
What's it called?
I'm calling it the upper room.
The upper
that's
room.
awesome.
That's cool.
I dig it.
I like that. That's cool, man. That's swag. That's so Peter
Yeah.
Sawanga.
Yeah, you know.
Like-
The upper room. Let's go.
and
Yeah,
That's
all kinds of
right.
levels.
what are you? What is it like? General topics? Are you choosing like a topic and you dissect it with a guest? What's the vibe?
The thing I want to do is I do have topics that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I also want to ask people pointed questions about the topics I want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have maybe like 3 topics, and we'll just dilly-dally between the 2 of them, or the 3 of them. So yeah, but I don't want to talk too much though.
Okay, no, that's fine. Well, you let us know when it's out. I'll expect it in 2025.
Yeah, just like a government contract, right? I appreciate that. But yeah, your support would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Of course.
Plenty of time to gear up my support. Yeah, but in all seriousness, though, you have been talking about this since lockdown. So here we are. But
Good things take
okay,
time.
let me ask you: do you have a personal goal of when you want to release this? Is it like a 2023 project, maybe?
Oh, before the end of the year, at least 1 episode before
Okay.
the end of the year. So
All
that's
right.
a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, dude, again, when it's out, let us know.
All right. I love these HD cameras because I can see the doubt in your goddamn fucking eyes. You bastard! You don't believe in me. All right, I'll get it done. Folks.
Oh man, Patrick's saying let's get some chat.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know.
What does that mean?
Hey, thank you. I thought it was
Good.
just me. Thank you, Gavin, for putting the Morg
Oh,
Rock
I
show.
think Gavin's a star.
Yes. So please, ladies and gentlemen, go subscribe to the Morg Rock Show. You know what? There's a funny episode. And I think it's going to be maybe a running joke between me and Morg, because I mentioned him on my channel, then he mentioned me on his channel in a very funny way. Loved it. And then I mentioned, but here's the thing: we didn't plan it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like almost the same episode. I released an episode. I was like, "Hey, dude, I've just released this episode. You should go check it out." He's like, yeah, I will. And he's like, "Oh, just what? I released an episode. You should watch it." And we're like, "Oh, cool." And afterwards, we figured out we were punting each other. It was quite cool.
That's organic, right? It's all
Yeah.
It just naturally happened.
telekinesic.
Great minds.
But I do want to do a collab with like my News in 5 with having Morg on, which will probably be News in 10. I'll even like change the title and stuff just to have a bit of
Yeah,
fun
that's
with
great.
it. And then like hopefully he'll allow me to also do a collab on his channel. I think
Yeah,
that
of course.
because like not a lot of creatives. There are big creatives that do it. They always do collabs, like the guys that have
Yeah.
1 million subscribers or whatever. But none of the guys that are on, so that I know of that do what we do,
Yeah.
have really done a collab. As far as I know,
Yeah?
yeah, we've been guests on each other's.
Yeah.
What do you
Shows,
think?
but-
What do you think the barrier is there? Like, what's
There's-
stopping it?
there's-
Scheduling,
No,
style.
I think. Look, I think
No.
scheduling is definitely a
Yeah,
problem.
schedule.
But
Like I have zero scheduling, and Joe is like schedule queen.
yes. Thank you. So like,
Pronouns scheduling and queen.
I'm gonna use that in my show in
Oh, you
Thursday.
should.
I'm gonna use that name. I must remember. But
I mean, Joe's like he'll message me like, "Hey, what are you doing like 4 months from now?" I'm like, "Dude,
yeah, Peter knows. I'm his
world's
friend.
probably gonna end." And he's like, let's do this thing. And I'm like, "You nuts? I have no idea what's happening in 4 months from now. We could all be dead."
Yeah, Joe is correct about that.
But I've even now forgot what I was saying.
Collab.
I think
Oh yeah,
we
the
talked-
collab. So
Yeah, it's a scheduling.
yeah, it's a schedule thing, but also I think there's this weird thing with some of the people on YouTube. It's like I don't want you to steal my subscribers kind of vibe.
Oh, that paradigm has to die.
Yeah,
Nothing
like
has to die.
That is a
we
that's a
all
different
share the same subscribers, whether
Yeah.
we're on each other's platforms or not. But it's ironic because you'll happily have me on the show as a guest,
Mhm.
but you won't have me part of your flagship show. Like
That's kind
that
of
doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
It's
But okay.
asinine.
Yeah.
Yeah. that makes sense.
But I mean, I'm speculating here. I don't know if that's the case, but
No,
I
but I
knew
mean, I think it's just easier if people had to work together. If you like, you combine your
Yeah. Well, what's
yeah,
that?
You know,
more,
like,
you're,
I mean-
one guy,
you're almost
Captain
to a
Planet.
1,000
I mean, it's good
subs.
for the environment.
You're almost at 1,000 subs, and I
Need
want
to
to. I
work
want to be the
harder.
guy that got you there. I want to take
No.
credit.
Dude, you've done so much help, dude. Like, honestly.
I really
honestly,
want
like-
to take credit for it. Like that's all
No,
I care
you
about.
have.
I don't give a shit about everything else. I just want. I
but I mean, the thing
I
is,
want
like,
you to
I
one
mean,
day
I-
be like, I was famous because of Joe Munia. Like,
I mean, like, dude, I don't know if you guys watch, Ben Shapiro. Right?
Yeah.
Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro used to come onto Steven Crowder's show before he had his own show.
Yeah.
And like, all these guys, what's the conservative twins? What's the Hodge twins?
yeah, the Hodge twins.
They
Yeah.
were on Crowder's
Love
show
it.
before they had their thing. Like all these guys work together. Like I mean, and that's the thing. It's like there's this almost like no, I've got my own thing. Piss off.
That's
Like
kind
it's like just work together. Like I find it a lot of times with like creatives, people who create, we're all on the same vibe. They won't even like a comment from you or like
Yeah.
it's just like no, I'm doing my thing. It's just like I mean, I hear it from some content creators who are like, I don't have time to watch anybody else's shit. But then how can you expect people to watch your shit? Like it's just it breaks my brain.
Strategically, it doesn't really
Yeah.
correlate. It doesn't really make sense.
No, exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit like you can't like on a Friday evening just like watch one episode while you're on the toilet. I mean, I do news in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's you can watch 2 episodes if you do a poop with me.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
if you got enough fiber,
Yeah. Yeah. That five will get you.
you're there for at least 45. Come on.
And if you've drunk enough coffee, come on, man.
Oh, yeah, no.
Wait, I do want to put Peter on full screen because someone was commenting earlier on your background.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Peter always has
So
interesting
slick.
backgrounds.
Yeah. That's my.
But the comment was, let me see if I can find it. The comment was, it was something about, I like Peter's background, but he mentioned something. Let me just find it quickly.
Is that Star Wars? Or is that...
This is think Vangelis.
Who?
Vangelis. Think 19. Think Noah. Tech. Noah.
I know. It's on the tip of
You
my
better
tongue.
get it up.
Harrison
Han
Ford.
Solo. Han Solo.
Yes, Harrison Ford was in it. I can't remember the original. Oh my god, what is wrong with me today?
Okay, someone thought you had a fish tank in the background, but
Oh, it looks like a fish tank, right? It does kind of look like a fish tank. No, this is like a Blade Runner inspired.
Oh yes, there we go. Blade Runner. It looks very much like Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
Like
Oh
the,
yeah, with the
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it looked very much like. But
Coruscant,
I was
is
like,
it?
second was I couldn't put my finger on it. Blade Runner.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Sorry.
no. I
Thanks for
think
the compliment, whoever that was.
I think next time we do, I do want to try and do this thing once a month. I think once a month is doable.
it's awesome.
We just talk random cock, and next time I think we'll have a Star Wars themed
All right.
thing.
Yeah.
Because I know Peter.
Classic
like,
Star Wars. Huh?
Like I know.
What-
Well, no. Because like I know Peter loves Star Wars and he loves The Mandalorian. Like he's a huge fan of The Mandalorian.
I'm huge.
I love The Mandalorian.
Yeah, we all are, right? But
Yeah.
like, I really want to see if Peter and Mork have agreements about other Star Wars stuff or not.
Okay.
Uh,
all right.
Yeah, we all like The Mandalorian, cool. But what do we think about the Book of Boba Fett? What do we think about
Yeah,
Obi-Wan?
yeah.
What do we think about the new Star Wars? Although I think we're all in agreement
The
with that.
future of. Oof,
Yeah,
man, that's a
uh,
conversation.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Star Wars.
that's a
thing.
long one.
Yeah, well, we'll have 2 hours.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much 2 minutes until the end of the stream, which means that it's pretty much time to wind down and say goodnight. And I just want to thank everybody that's tuned in. I saw some new faces, so thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. Whether you stayed the whole show or you didn't, it doesn't matter. Rewatch this if you're only catching the end of it. Some pretty interesting topics that we spoke about tonight, and I do expect that we might get some individuals that might try and cancel us, but I don't think we said anything controversial at
God.
all. And I'll stand by it no matter what. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go. I've got
same.
more work to do. Can you believe it? But Peter, Mark, thank you guys so much for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, we will let you know when Peter has his podcast out. It'll probably be Christmas of 2027. And then, and then,
Santa's a patient guy.
and then, Mork Rock Show. Please go check it out and give him a subscribe. He's almost at 1,000. I think he's like
Almost
you're close to 700. I think, right?
Almost 700, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
think
come
so.
on, 300. Come on, we can do it.
Come
We
on.
can do it. Also,
Okay,
let us know in the comments if you're watching this after the fact. Did you enjoy this conversation? Do you want us to do more? We're probably going to do once a month anyway, but yeah, let us know if you enjoyed it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I'm Jeremy. Don't forget to join us on Thursday evening where Barry Hilton will join us for Comedians Roast the Headlines, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for News in 5. Cheers, everyone.